What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome into the allegedly award-nominated number 9 ranked NCAA, honorably mentioned, all that good stuff. You know the deal. And, of course, we're viewable on YouTube. Outside the Box podcast. It's KB and Deej. It's episode number 259. We got a lot to dive into. We got NLL recap, one of the biggest trades of the last decade in the NLL happened earlier this week that I may or may not have predicted. Not the team per se, but predicted that this player would get traded in our preview episode. We're going to dive into our picks of the week for this upcoming week, Deej's State of the Fandom, all that good stuff. Plus, we called our shot over on the tweet machine. We called our shot today. We said, you know what? We're going to do this. Because you guys seem to like when we have guests on the show, and sometimes life gets in the way, and it's difficult to schedule guests consistently. But Deej and I also just like chopping it up, the two of us. But we called our shot. We'll get into that later in the show as well. Plus, college lacrosse starts this weekend, so whole lot of stuff to dive into. Plus, the PBLA folded for this year. Crazy. We'll get into everything, but before we get started, make sure you guys are following us at OTB LaxPod, Twitter, Instagram. Guys, we're at 1,472 on Twitter. Get us to 1,500, god damn it. We are that close, like, so close we can almost taste it. I feel like Natasha Bedingfield. Like, release your inhibitions. Feel the rain on our skin. Now, I'm not going to continue because I don't want us to get demonetized, even though we're not a monetized channel yet on YouTube. But just follow us on the socials at OTB LaxPod. Follow Deej on Twitter at SCS_NextGreat. Follow me at KBIZZL311. Subscribe to the podcast feed on Apple, Spotify, wherever the hell you get your podcasts. Subscribe. Leave a 5-star rating and review. Let us know how you're feeling about the state of lacrosse. Give us your college lacrosse predictions in your review. We will read the reviews on the show. We've done it in the past. If you leave a 5-star review on Apple, we'll read it on the show. It really helps the show continue to grow. Lacrosse doesn't have like a niche chart on Apple Podcasts, so we're just clobbered right in with all the big sports podcasts, and it's tough for people to find us. So go subscribe, leave a 5-star review. Let's get on the charts. Let's do this damn thing. And, of course, subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. That's where you get full video episodes of every episode of OTB. You get interviews. You get OTB Cast live streams, which I'm sure we'll be planning one in the near future. You get original content, shorts, all that good stuff is over on our YouTube channel. We're at 371 subscribers right now. Get us to 400. We're that close. Subscribe. YouTube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. And make sure you guys go get your merch from our friends at PHI Apparel Company. They are our official merch providers for all of our podcasts here at Underground Sports. Official OTB merch is on the website. If you're a fan of the Birds or the Chiefs, we got our amazing big game shirt. Gear up. If you order now, you'll have it in time for the big game on Sunday, February 12th. Go get that thing. We're trying to make it a number 1 bestseller on the website. You can get OTB merch as well, and you're going to stand out when you go to your favorite NLL teams games, you go on the road for the PLL, your favorite college team games. We want to see OTB merch in college stadiums this season. PHIapparel.co. Use code UNDERGROUND for 10% off any and all merch. Go get it now. They're shipping pretty quickly right now. You'll get your merch by the middle of next week if you go and order right now while you're listening to this. PHIapparel.co. Make sure you use that code UNDERGROUND for 10% off. So make sure they know that we sent you. And tag us when you get your merch so we know where you're rocking your OTB merch across the nation. Deej, what the fuck is popping, brother?
Man, life is life is rolling. First off, happy Black History Month.
Facts.
So just wanted to get that out there.
This is
Very
not a
excited.
plug either. Go watch the PLL video that they put out that they showed like a tease of, I think during Seattle weekend or Dallas weekend. Awesome piece of content. Like, go watch that.
Fantastic. Yeah, so excited for that. Getting rolling on and always one of my favorite months of the year. So obviously got that going on. But like things are about to get real busy for the guy, getting into conditionings and stuff with my kids. So season starts in technically a month for first real practice is in a month, and we got games a month after that.
We're both on the high school lacrosse grind this spring.
Different grinds in that respect, but
we're both out there. I
We're both
don't know
out
if
there,
I
yeah.
announced this on the show. I'm commentating. I'm doing broadcasts for high school lacrosse in Vineland this year.
that's gonna be fun, man. That's gonna
Very
be fun.
excited. I'm gonna see the boys. Because Vineland plays St. Joe, coached by Bryce Young, and they play St. Augustine Prep, assistant coached by Charlie Kitchen.
That's gonna be fun. Chop it up
Very
a little
excited.
bit.
Very
Maybe
excited.
get them behind a mic sometime
Hey.
soon.
Hey, we calls them as we sees them.
Might talk about that a little later.
Facts. But we're gonna dive into NLL Week 9 recap. It's brought to you by our friends. I don't think we've advertised these guys just yet on this show. Our new partners, our new friends for the network over at W Energy. Guys, Deej and I are recording these episodes after long work days at day jobs. We're always beat, and W Energy has us covered. Now, you're probably wondering, why are you talking to us about this energy stuff? It's always got jitters and crash. No. W Energy, they're going to war on Big Energy, Deej. This is their new campaign. They're declaring war on Big Energy. Bye-bye to Big Jittery Energy, because W's up next. They were tired of Big Energy favoring profit over quality and making energy drinks loaded with jitters, maltodextrin filler, artificial colors and dyes, sugars, and other BS. Take a peek yourself on the nutrition labels. They grew upset with these types of energy drinks and decided to wage war on Big Energy by releasing their own energy drinks, which are cleaner and jitter and crash free. Here's to paving the road for a better future for energy drinks, where the status quo is no longer profits over quality, where quality matters, and where energy drinks don't get a bad rap for being unhealthy and harmful to consume. So, you guys can help wage the war on Big Energy. Check out their War on Big Energy capsule that they have on their website. Awesome merch. We have the wartime black camo flag in the studio here. It's so sick. They just released a new Black Widow Dubby shaker. So it's a black shaker with a red Dubby logo on it. And the star of the big war on energy is the Big Energy Tears energy drink tub, which is blue raspberry flavored, which I have been told and seen on social media that it tastes like one of two things. Either you're blue icy without the brain freeze, or it tastes just like blue Sour Patch Kids. Who doesn't love the blue flavor?
Yeah, it doesn't really go wrong. I mean, I love the blue. I love the blue flavor.
And W is formulated to give you focus and energy with no jitters or crash, and their formula contains vitamins, amino acids, and nootropics, including the patented neurofactor, which has been proven in clinical studies to help enhance brain performance. Like, come on. W contains no calories, no sugar, no maltodextrin, no fillers, and no artificial colors, and it's made by professionals right here in the U.S. of A. So you guys can go to w.gg, use code underground, and you get 10% off any and all orders when you shop at w.gg. Get that energy. My favorite so far, my personal favorite, is the Dragonade, which is dragon fruit and pink strawberry lemonade. It's delicious. I also saw them tweet from their official account that they were told if you mix the Dragonade with Sprite, you got a nice little Dubby cocktail right there. So go to dubby.gg and be better with your energy drink choices. Use code Underground for 10% off. Week 9 recap, Deej. It's in the books for the NLL. Halifax Thunderbirds give the Rochester Nighthawks their first loss of the season, 17-7. Things fell off the rails in the third quarter for the Philadelphia Wings against the Buffalo Bandits on Kevin Finner in retirement night. 13-9, the Bandits win. The Buffalo Bandits then go to New York and beat the Riptide 16-10. Saskatchewan topped Las Vegas 15-10. Toronto in overtime in the TSN game of the week gets a dub over Calgary 11-10. San Diego beats the Dylan Wardless Colorado Mammoth 13-9. And then Panther City ties the season record for goals in a game and tops Vancouver 20-7. So your standings right now, the Rochester Nighthawks still in first place in the East at 6-1. Buffalo at 6-2, Toronto at 5-2, Halifax at 4-3, Albany at 2-3, Philadelphia at 2-4, New York at 1-5, and Georgia at 0-4. And then in the West, San Diego at 5-1, Saskatchewan and Colorado at 3-2, Panther City at 4-3. I think it's very funny looking at the standings graphic right now on the website. Panther City's like everyone. It says like Seals, Rush, Mammoth, Roughnecks, Desert Duck. Panther City just says Lacrosse Club. Calgary's at 3-3, Las Vegas at 1-5, Vancouver at 1-6. What stood out to you from this past week, DJ? Obviously, Rochester loses for the first time. Panther City dominates Vancouver once again. Dylan Ward was a late scratch against San Diego. The game of the week was certainly the game of the week. And the Wings once again just fell apart in the third quarter.
I would have to say the Wings game. We talked a little bit off pod, especially with a move we'll talk about a little bit later. And I'm still concerned with the lack of scoring that the Wings are facing. They have way too talented of an offense to go through that lack of scoring. Like, I mean, Blaze started the year so hot, but he also wasn't getting any help. Rambo came through, with hat trick here and there, but
and Blaze is still hot.
Yes,
it's like the team. It's either Blaze, and thankfully, Ben McIntosh had his in this game. If there's an overhead camera, he probably has another goal in this game, and momentum swings completely in the other direction. But the refereeing in this game, and not that I ever like to blame refs for the result of a game, but this game, the refs fucking were horrific across the board. There's 2 goals that should have been goals for the Wings that were not allowed. They were just bad. But the thing that stands out to me about the Wings and what is kind of plaguing them right now, they need to just get together at their training facility the day before a game when they practice and just pass the fucking ball. Because my God, dude, you as a coach would be furious. The way that I'm seeing these guys pass the ball.
I watch it.
It blows my mind. You would think that they've never passed a lacrosse ball in their life. And I don't know if it's just the pressure on them to, try to be perfect because of where they are right now in the standings and everything. But my goodness, man, the last 2 games, their passing has been horrific. It's led to just costly turnovers that end up leading to opponents getting goals off turnovers. This game against Albany, I am determined to keep a tally to see how many points off turnovers potentially Albany scores. this weekend, because it is mind-blowing how many points off turnovers they have given up these last 2 weeks. Because this game against Buffalo especially, the Wings could have won this game. It was firmly in hand. They were outplaying them the entire first half. And then I don't know what has happened at halftime, but they come out in the third quarter so flat and just like there's nothing there. They lose the energy and momentum that they had. Something's got to change there. Something did change this week, which we'll get into. But man, it was just disheartening. But I do have to say the ceremony for Kevin Finneran was amazing. Matty Cord, who is the voice of the Sixers now, was the voice of the Philadelphia Wings back when Finneran was playing at the Spectrum. Introduced him and did the entire ceremony there. Awesome job. And I do have to say, even with the Wings struggling right now, being at 2-4, the crowds at the Wells Fargo Center, man, have been the best I have ever seen. It's unreal the amount of people and support that is coming out, even when they're down. But you got to start producing, otherwise that's going to go away real quick.
Definitely.
Buffalo getting a 2-0 weekend was, good for them. That stood out to me. Not that it's a surprise per se, but it's tough to go night game in Philly, have to get on the bus, go to New York, and then you're playing the next day. So they had themselves a weekend. Toronto and Calgary duking it out. Job well done by both teams, even in a loss for Calgary. Like to push Toronto to overtime like that. Great job. And I think it's time that we have a eulogy and a send-off because...
Are we talking about the elephant in the room now?
The Vancouver Warriors season is over.
Oh, I was talking about the other elephant in the room. But yeah, we can talk about that one first, for sure.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today
this is the
to
way,
lay
this
to
the
rest.
This is the official one? Because I wrote them off 2 weeks ago. I had my
to
own
lay to rest the Vancouver Warriors season.
Let me bow my head out of respect, and you
let us bow our heads and have a moment of silence for the 2022-2023 Vancouver Warriors. Thank you. The Warriors are 1-6. Early indications is looking like the boy Logan Schuss is done for the year with a knee injury. Wishing him all the best and a quick, healthy, successful recovery. And then the big move that happened this week, Mitch Jones gets traded to the Philadelphia Wings, which I said on our season preview pod. Rewind, go to the tapes. Let's go to the tapes. I said Mitch was going to get traded this year. I didn't say where. I just said it was going to be to a contender, which Philadelphia very may still could be a contender because their remaining games are all against the East. So they're just going to be, dogpiling against guys that they got to, leapfrog in the standings. I didn't see this move coming whatsoever. I just saw that the Off the Crossbar podcast tweeted, a GIF that something was going to be happening. I didn't think it was going to be of this magnitude. But Mitch Jones gets traded to the Philadelphia Wings from the Vancouver Warriors in exchange for... Oh, and it is confirmed Logan Schuss is on the season-ending injured reserve. So wishing all the best to the boy. But Mitch Jones traded to the Wings.
That's a tragic gal.
Yeah. Especially at age 32. Like, that's tough. So Mitch Jones to the Wings in exchange for Steph Charbonneau, the Wings' first-round pick in 2023, and a second-round pick in 2024. I love Charbs. He was one of the 5 remaining guys from year 1 of the Wings coming back, the lone defenseman from that group as well. I'm going to miss him. He was great to me and everybody in the media. Good locker room guy, very fun to be around. I think it sucks to lose him. But when you can get Mitch Jones for that package, you can't say no to that. And I think the Wings making this move is massive. I think it's telling that even before, like when they traded for Tate Katoni earlier this year, who I think he's been pretty solid for them so far as a role player, I think that was just to get some lefty depth. This is telling to me, and almost 100% confirms it, but I'm going to say 99% confirms Kyle Jackson will not be playing in the NLL this year. But going out and getting Mitch Jones to pair with Ben McIntosh, Joe Resiteritz, Matt Rambo, Blaze Reardon, Kyle Matisse, that is Paul Day swinging for the fences and saying, let's fix this offense. We're struggling on the left side, and we need a guy who's going to produce. And that's Mitch Jones. He's an MVP candidate. He's the OG backpack boy on this podcast, friend of the program. I think you and I both would have been stunned if somebody from the future came and told us earlier this year that Mitch Jones would be traded for a package of a player and 1 first-round pick and 1 second-round pick in the future. Like, that seems like drastic underpay. I love this move for the Wings. I don't know how much defensive depth they have now, with Sharps on the way out, so that's a little tough. But this kind of tells me, too, that Kyle Matisse is going to be playing more of a defensive role in the transition game than the offensive side of things. And now you have 3 big boys up front in Mitch, Joey Rez, and Ben McIntosh, along with your OG guys of Blaze and Rambo. That's a 5-headed monster right there. If you can't score, I'm going to set the bar here. You tell me if this sounds about accurate. If the Wings can't average for the remainder of the season 14.5 goals a game with those 5 guys, something's wrong.
That's a tie high in my opinion, unless they're gonna pop off in like 4 weeks and just ride that momentum for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I'm saying like the collective like average goals scored for that 5.
I'm saying they're gonna have to pop off and score like Halifax was at the beginning of the year, kind of thing, because it's going to take a little bit of time for Mitch Jones to get into this offense, and it's going to disrupt what they have going on now. It's going to be weird.
I do forget if
it's a devil's advocate kind of thing here, but chemistry.
I forget if he ever played under McComb. I don't know that. If he has, somebody comment on YouTube for us and let us know. So I don't know if he's played in McComb's system before or not. But I mean, like when Paul Day came on, everybody's been trying to mimic Jeff McComb's system. They have the guy. So I don't know, because I know Mitch played for Buffalo before he went to Vancouver. So I don't know if he was
the system is one thing, but the players are another.
Yeah.
Chemistry is chemistry. Like they still got to figure each other out and the sticks and everything, and they're still doing that with Joey Rez, really, and like you can see how that's affecting his game. So like, do I have optimism that Mitch Jones is going to come in and help and like boost this team exactly where they want to be right away? Yeah, but am I also being realistic and understanding that he could run into the same problem that Joey Rez is running into, and now you got 2 all-star guys trying to find their keep on a team that should be near the top of the East? Like, it's such an unknown that I do still think Philadelphia won the trade, but I just can't confidently move forward saying that, like, this offense is exponentially better already. On paper, of course. But, like, to see it, I can't see it for one game either. Like, if they come out this next game and it pops off, I'm not going to be sold on it.
They got one hell of a test because they play Albany, and we all know that Albany defense. So
right. I mean, if they did it, it would be impressive. And I'd be like, okay, this is the potential I want to see, but now let me see it 3, 4, 5 games in a row, then I have nothing to say to you. Your offense got exponentially better off of one move. Very good job. But other than that, I'm going to question it until I can see consistency. And
I think the good thing with Mitch, though, too, is like not only does he score, but he racks up assists. Like, he can pass the ball. And like we mentioned earlier, like that's been a fucking issue almost all year for the Wings, especially the last 2 weeks. So that's a bonus. It's also a bonus that Mitch has a number upgrade with the Wings. He's wearing number 24. I think he's going to look smooth in that wings number 24. But I mean,
those new threads were nice.
The legacy jerseys were beautiful. I hope they keep those in the rotation for like a once a year thing every year because those were gorgeous. But I know you and I talk about this a lot too, but I think for an on paper trade, if you're telling me my first round pick this year is Mitch Jones, I'm cool with that. And you're telling me my second round pick in 2024 is Mitch Jones, I'm cool with that.
Pretty much.
I think Sharps is going to thrive as a culture reset in Vancouver. I think he's going to be a main piece of their rebuild because it's clear what Vancouver's doing. They're rebuilding. So we'll see what other moves happen with them. Apparently they're not done. They released Ethan Woods this week. They signed Aaron Bold back to the roster. Vancouver they have a lot of things to figure out. And trading Mitch Jones, as painful as it is for Vancouver Warriors fans, it was the right move for them to kind of kickstart this rebuild. It was time. The amount of years that Mitch and Logan have been there and just nothing has materialized, no matter what they've done. It's time to hit that reset button in Vancouver. So Mitch Jones will be active this weekend as well for the Wings against Albany. So I'll get to see the boy playing in Philadelphia, which will be a lot of fun. Hopefully get to talk to him after the game. We'll see what happens. The guys were also more optimistic after that Wings game against Buffalo than they were obviously against Toronto. Coach Day apologized probably like 7 times for dropping an F-bomb. But they felt more optimistic about where the team was heading and, just a couple things here and there didn't go their way. Like I mentioned, like 2 goals got overturned that should not have. But overall, it was a much better vibe after the game, even though it was a loss, than it was against Toronto. But Mitch Jones is now a Philadelphia Wing. Deej, you already eliminated Vancouver from your State of the Fandom. It's brought to you by our friends over at Tomahawk Shades, the best small batch eyewear in the game. They got sunglasses. They got blue light glasses. Protect those eyeballs, guys. You only get 1 pair of them. But you can get as many pairs of Tomahawk Shades as you want. And when you go to tomahawkshades.com and get your small batch eyewear for a fraction of the price of those big retailers, you already get another discount here with our code USP for 25% off at checkout. That's tomahawkshades.com. Use code USP for 25% off your order. Deej, your State of the Fandom following Week 9 in the NLL. Has anything switched up following those games?
I wasn't aware that Georgia was doing that bad. I don't think there's enough to save them at this point. Stinger is,
they don't follow us.
They don't follow us, and their record is bad. 3 strikes, you're out. Pretty simple.
Dang, they got fired on their week off. I think twice. Man. I think you eliminated Georgia last week, too, so they got double elimination.
I might have, yeah. But I don't think I did, but I might have. Don't quote me on that.
2 weeks off. We'll go to the tapes. Go to the tapes!
But, yeah, I don't think anybody else deserves any rap. Albany's, got a weird place in my heart.
Yeah.
I don't dislike him, but I don't like him.
Felt
kind
that.
of just cool.
So many dudes on that team that are our boys.
Yeah, but it's also something about him that's just I don't know how to really explain.
Yeah.
We'll
keep it light on Albany because we might be making a trip there in April.
They're like that person that you chill with, but only when you're a friend around. Because they're your friend, but not your friend. So you just, they cool, but you just be like, I'm not going to hang with them if they not around. So,
I would in the friend circle that's outside your friend circle.
Yeah.
They're in your
So,
acquaintance circle.
definitely. Big time acquaintance. Um, but Halifax still in the mix. A little more respect this week. Um, Creeping close to the top five. They had a hot start to the year, and kind of just the way some of the guys are playing, Jake Withers, Stotzi, those kind of guys. They're just back with that swagger. So,
Yeah.
and their color scheme is big with them. I love the color scheme. So nothing has changed too much other than Georgia possibly getting a double elimination.
First time in show history. There it
Yep.
is. Which brings us to the Week 9 OTB Awards, brought to you by our friends over at Trophy Smack. Guys, there's no better way to upgrade your fantasy smack talk than with our friends at Trophy Smack. They got belts, they got rings, they got trophies, they got last place awards, golden toilet seats, metal wall art, you name it, they got it. I'm sure you're playing in fantasy lacrosse leagues right now. Gear up. It's never too late to upgrade it. So go to trophysmack.com/underground and upgrade your fantasy smack talk today. That's trophysmack.com/underground. trophysmack.com/underground. Upgrade your fantasy smack talk. DJ, I think we start with the rookie of the week this week because I think there's only one in mind for me, and that is Bobo Hunter. Phenomenal performance during Every Child Matters initiative kickoff with his grandmother's name on the turf. Goes out, has his first career hat trick, pops off against Rochester, does the damn thing. I think Bobo Hunter's a no-brainer for the rookie of the week.
Big facts. That was who I was coming in with. Had him penciled down. I was like, I have no questions on this. Good, like literally balled out. No other way to say it. Balled out.
Goalie of the week. I think there's a couple options. I think the boy who, don't stop me here, but I think Nick Rose is in the MVP conversation. I think Nick Rose is up for OTB award for goalie of the week, and I also think homie from Panther City, Nick Damude, also up for goalie of the week, where in this game he got pulled with about 10 and some change left. Got the win, only gave up 6 of the 7 goals that Vancouver scored, had 33 saves. That's pretty fucking good in 49 and a half minutes to only give up 6 goals in an NLL game.
What did CDB do this week?
Christian Del Bianco in a loss, unfortunately, for the Roughnecks.
Right.
This was a tough game there. But Christian Del Bianco did have himself a game, now that it's coming to mind here. CDB, 11 goals against, 34 saves in 60 minutes and 24 seconds. Also, I think people were championing for him to have 3 assists in this game, but it wasn't official, according to the stat sheet here. Let me see if it's actually on the scoring breakdown here. Christian Del Bianco, 1 assist.
I say you had at least one because it was a dime.
Yeah. So he did have assists. It was
and that was
a
off
hockey
a crazy.
assist.
That was off a crazy save too.
It was Del Bianco to Shane Simpson to Zach Currier. I think some people were saying that another one of Simpson's assists should have been Christian Del Bianco's.
Maybe.
Great goalie performances across the board. Also, even though they lost, Zach Higgins was standing on his fucking head against the Bandits. He looked great. Also, Christian Del Bianco's backup being named, his last name is Bland. What an awful last name. I feel terrible for him.
What about Eric Penny?
Eric Penny.
We haven't talked much about him. Or sorry, Alex Bouquet.
Yeah.
We haven't talked much about Alex Bouquet either for that back, but
Bouquet
the
had
Rush
himself
the Rush look 1,000 times better this year.
10 goals against 40 saves and the dub against Vegas. I think I'm...
Goalie isn't so clear cut this week.
I know. I think I'm leaning Nick Damute.
Because they blew him out.
Well, I mean, he only gave up 6 goals, which is the fewest of the week.
But he only saw 39 shots.
Fair argument.
You know, that's the tough thing about like goalie performances is a 39 shot, 33 save performance better than a 65 shot, 51 save performance, 52 save performance.
Who else played? Just double checking here. Nothing really. Well, actually, not to be a actually guy, but double checking something here, just to.
Anyway.
Actually, goalie of the week, I think, should go to Matt Vince. Played 2 games.
That's fair.
Back-to-back nights. 42 saves against the Riptide. And then against the Wings, he had 46 saves. So 88 saves in a weekend. 2 wins. Played the full game in both games. I think Matt Vince gets the nod, actually.
I'm very down for that.
Savino.
Played so good, it went right over my head.
Offensive player of the week. I mean, I have to go back to Panther City and just see who scored.
Somebody had a crazy game this week, I thought.
Oh, it's producer Donnie.
Yeah.
Producer Donnie's the offensive player of the week, boys.
Didn't he have like...
I think we go co, actually. I think it's from the same game. Will Malcolm and producer Donnie.
Didn't one of them have 13?
Will Malcolm had 13, 5 goals, 8 assists. Producer Donnie had 4 goals, 8 assists.
Yeah, I think 13 is like... Will Malcolm's one of like...
And Will Malcolm had 9 loosies.
Yeah.
Donnie had 1.
He said, they pay me to score goals.
I think we go co-offensive player of the week. It's Jonathan Donville, Will Malcolm. For 2 teammates to combine for 25 points in a game is bonkos.
Man, you ain't seen some field lacrosse.
I mean, I have, but for
these
guys, like Donnie's playing in his first year.
Yeah, but Donnie's a beast. And this ain't really
of course
his
he
first
is.
year playing box because he's a little Canadian.
His first year NLL.
Yeah, but it's all the same. You see me
about to get canceled.
You see me trying to get canceled. I'm talking out my ass on purpose. It's so fun to do that sometimes. Like, I just hope everybody knows, like, when I say stuff like that, it is
them
totally
Ontario boys about to be after you.
It is totally on purpose.
It's gonna be little Ontario. Ooh, kill him.
Like, I know y'all gonna cancel me, so it's not for real. That's why I always retract and let y'all know it's all BS. I'm all for it though. The Panther City that dismantled them.
Panther City pals. Jonathan Donville, Will Malcolm. And then defensive player of the week. Let's see here. let's take a look over in Halifax. Because to shut down that Rochester Nighthawks offense, I am kind of leaning, even though he's technically a transition player, kind of leaning Ryan Tarafanko. He had 3 points in the game. He had a goal and 2 assists. 15 loose balls. Led the team. More than Jake Withers. Which is crazy. Kind of did it all. Trying to see if there's anybody else. And I mean, Graham Hossack had a goal and an assist. 5 loose balls, 1 block, 2 caused turnovers.
What about somebody from Buffalo, maybe? They
They
didn't give up too many goals this weekend.
As well, let's see. Buffalo. So against the Wings, I'm going to pull it here. Let's see. Steve Priolo had 10 loose balls, 2 blocks, 3 caused turnovers. What did he have against the Riptide? He also had 3 assists against the Riptide, 8 loose balls, 1 block, 2 caused turnovers. I think Steve Priolo.
I like it. Priolo's he's been playing at a high caliber level all year, really. And, I mean, he gets some respect, but we could definitely argue not.
Yeah. So there it is. Defensive Player of the Week, Steve Priolo. Offensive Player of the Week will be co-winners of producer Donnie and Tony Malcolm, or was it Will Malcolm? Oh, I lost the page.
Will.
There we go. Yeah, Will Malcolm. Goalie of the Week, Matt Vince. And your Rookie of the Week, Bo Hunter. And those are your Week 9 OTB awards. Brought to you by our friends over at Trophy Smack. These are the Week 10 preview before we get into our picks. This is what Week 10 is looking like. We got a nice little slate of games this weekend. On Friday, we don't get started until 9 o'clock. Only one game on Friday. It is the Georgia Swarm and the Colorado Mammoth. The Zed Williams game. Zed, formerly of the Georgia Swarm. Zed versus Lyle. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then on Saturday, this is our schedule. 6 p.m., Calgary at Halifax. 7 p.m., New York at Toronto. 7 p.m. as well, Albany at Philadelphia, which I'll be there for the Mitch Jones Philly debut. Then 7:30, we get Rochester at Buffalo. 10 o'clock, it's a Purple People Eater battle. Panther City at San Diego. 10 o'clock, Saskatchewan at Vancouver. And then 10:30, Colorado's got 2 games this week. Colorado at Las Vegas. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them things this week. Which games are standing out to you?
Rochester, Buffalo. Buffalo coming off a back-to-back, playing well, 2-0 on the weekend. Moving forward, a lot of momentum the last couple of weeks, looking very good. Possibly, they're pretty much playing for first in the East. They are playing for first in the East, actually. So that's huge game implications 100% of the time. But also Rochester getting their first L. How do they bounce back? Albany, Philadelphia. Mitch Jones, new offense, basically, quote unquote. Anytime you add a player of that caliber, the offense completely changes. Whether people want to admit that or not, it does. So playing against a defense like Albany is tough in that regard. So
and it's a rivalry because Albany was the Black Wolves, and then they were the Wings before. So
that's separate storyline. We don't care about that as much right now.
I'll see myself out.
It's just gonna be fun to see, kind of just does that defense take control or does the offense fight back a little bit, and then how much fun does the Albany offense have with Philadelphia's defense? Um, Calgary, Halifax, they hate each other. It seems
The Tyson Bell Bowl.
like so that'll be
Who's
fun.
got the biggest rodeo in Canada, baby?
And then
Yeehaw.
none of the night games excite me on Saturday, but I am
Kind of intrigued by Panther City in San Diego.
And I did for a second, but
I feel like Dan Lebatard's dad. See, I'm very intrigued.
not enough for me to talk right now about it over New York, Toronto. For whatever reason,
Well, I'm just saying from the night games.
Oh yeah, for sure. If I had to
That's
watch
the
one
night
of those, it's gonna be that one.
Colorado Vegas is kind of a close second because Vegas, even though they're 1-5, they're just like they're frisky.
But Colorado hasn't played good enough this year for me.
No Dylan Ward though.
Still, they haven't played good enough for me this year.
Yeah, Vegas might get another win.
New York and Toronto are very. I don't know what it is about this matchup, but they bring fireworks every time. Toronto is one of those teams that makes New York bring out their best. Question mark around that. I don't know what it is. Maybe they don't like Tom Schreiber coming and carving them up every time he's home. I don't know, but
it stems from the hockey rivalry. It's because of Tavares going to Toronto.
I can believe that, but that's so stupid.
100%.
But yeah, so early Saturday is where it really is. 6, 7, 7, 7:30. That's what you want to be watching. Get that Xbox Premium, ESPN, split screen going. That's what you want. All 4 of those, divvy it up.
And I know what the people want, Deej.
The Duckies?
The people want to hear the Ducks. And it's the Week 10 Picks of the Week, brought to you by our friends over at Pickup. You guys can go to playpickup.com, start playing the hottest headlines in sports, rack up points on your fan profiles, cash them in for prizes on the Pickup Marketplace. That's playpickup.com. Like we mentioned, we start things off in Colorado this weekend, February 3rd, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. It's the Georgia Swarm, the Colorado Mammoth. No Dylan Ward, allegedly. He was placed on IR on January 28th, so I don't know how long he will be out. Georgia's still looking for their first win of the season. To me, though, even without Dylan Ward, for Colorado to keep that within 4 against the Super Seals, that's super impressive. And when Georgia's really just got Lyle and Jordan McIntosh, and then a whole bunch of question marks, I'm going with Colorado at home.
We know the rules of teams that get voted off my island. So
the Deej has spoken.
Colorado it is.
So there it is. We're the same on Friday night. Moving to Saturday, Calgary at Halifax, arguably game of the week. 2 teams, fighting for positioning in their stands, trying to hit that, spike of wins, trying to build those records. I like this matchup a lot. I think they're there's a lot of things that Calgary does well that Halifax can combat, and there's a lot of things that Halifax does well that I think Calgary can combat. 2 great goalies facing off here. But I'm going with the home team. Play Maxine. Give me the Halifax Thunderbirds.
This is interesting. Calgary's given up about 10 goals a game. Halifax has given up 11 goals a game. Calgary is scoring 11 goals a game. Halifax is scoring 14.
Remember, Halifax is probably a little inflated because they had 18 against the Wings week 1, and then they just had 17.
And they had 20.
That's right. Not that you're a gambling man.
I'm just saying that's 3 out of their 4 wins.
But Halifax is favored by 1.5, sports betting wise. But for anybody new to the program, we just go straight up wins. We don't do lines.
I'm going to have to go Halifax as well. And this one's down to Jake Withers. I think he's just going to give them the ball enough to where they'll have just more opportunities to score.
It is going to be fun. Jake and like Zach Currier being in that transition mix. That's going to be a lot of fun. Next up, New York Riptide at the Toronto Rock, 7 p.m. Sorry about it, New York. I love you guys. Phenomenal people working there. Great dudes on the team. But the Toronto Rock are in territory of I just simply cannot pick against them right now. So give me the Rock.
Man. You know what's crazy? The one time I went against the Riptide this year, they won. That's making me question, do I want to just keep going against them and taking that L so that they could win? Or do I want to have optimism for myself and pick them and then they lose? I honestly don't think they have. It's just so hard to say they don't have enough offensively when they easily do.
I don't think they have enough defensively.
Yeah, I think it's the defensive side of the ball this time. Comparing to this Rock offense that has exploded the last couple games and is slowly working themselves into maybe a top seed in the East if those teams.
If Buffalo loses to Rochester this week and Toronto wins, they leapfrog Buffalo.
Yep. I like Toronto. Man, we need a different game in here somewhere.
I'm sure we'll have it on this next one. The Albany Firewolves head to Philadelphia to take on the Wings. Mitch Jones' Philly debut. Albany, I think, had a bye last week, if I'm not mistaken, because they're only 2-3. I hate this game, pick-wise. It's just so tough. This is like one of the tougher games to kind of like navigate through. But I'm going to say there's an X factor. And I want to congratulate the boy. Just got his 1,000th face-off win. I think TB9 at the stripe is a game changer in this game to get the Wings possessions. Joey Rez playing against his former team. I think there's going to be some, bulletin board motivation there. I'm going to go Wings. I think it's going to be close. It's going to be one of those ones where we're, up in the press box just like holding on for dear life. But I think the Wings come through and, this Mitch Jones trade helps spark a streak of wins here for the Wings.
You were right. I'm going to have to pick Albany strictly off the fact that Mitch Jones is coming in and disrupting the offense that really had no rhythm anyway. So they're all still finding their way. It's the blind leading the blind right now, if you ask me. And that defense is crazy anyway. They do take a little bit of a hit in the face-off area in terms of Joe Nardella not being there, but I think they have enough everywhere else. Dougie James has played pretty good to start the year. I trust that the Albany offense can get it going against Philly and their defense.
So far, just looking at
Albany.
Sportsbook-wise here, on the money line side of things, this is the first game, and I think this is the only game of the weekend where the money line, both teams are minus odds. Wings are minus 125 on the money line. Albany's minus 105. So it truly is kind of a pick-em this week with that game.
Yep.
Moving on to 7:30 in Buffalo, Rochester, Nighthawks, Buffalo Bandits. Rochester finally took that L in kind of, punch in the mouth fashion. Buffalo's at home. They're playing unbelievable right now. But you know what? I think Rochester gets a bounce back. I think in a shootout of a game. It's going to be back and forth just like the first matchup between these guys. Except I don't think Rochester's going to have one of those 4-goal runs that Buffalo can't answer. I'm going to go Rochester to pull a quote-unquote upset and get a dub and bounce back after a loss.
So, Buffalo has a chance to be back in first place where they feel like they belong. Back where they've been for a while the past couple of years. They have a chance to avenge an earlier loss this season to this very Rochester team where they traveled to Rochester and lost. They are at home. They've been playing well the past 4 games, and I mean well. Josh Byrne, Dane Smith are doing their thing on the offensive end. Tahoka's coming alive. And then you still get your odd-end help from, Buchanan and guys like that. Rochester, on the other hand, first loss, feeling salty. Still have arguably the best team in the league since they only have 1 L and didn't really lose by a bunch and didn't look to be out of that game ever, really. It's tough to say who can really win this game other than this is game number 2 that we're differing on, because there's no way Buffalo loses this game at home to a team they already lost to this year. It's the home factor for me. Buffalo has been crazy. And now that the Bills lost, all they got are the Bandits.
It's the Bandits and the Sabres.
So?
Now we move to the nightcaps. The Purple People Eater matchup. Panther City at San Diego. I think this game's just going to be fun. I'm going San Diego, but I think Panther City's just going to keep it fun and interesting. But I'm going Seals.
If the matchup we just talked about wasn't happening this week, this has very strong considerations to be game of the week. The only other one I would really throw up is Calgary-Halifax. Just in terms of how Panther City plays, the star power that San Diego has, the colored dynamic jersey matchup's going to be awesome. There's so many odd-end things that are good about this game that don't have anything to do with the players that I'm here for. So maybe I'll end up watching this game for that standpoint alone. No, I won't, actually, because I'll be doing other stuff. Actually, I think I'll watch it later. But I'll have that in mind of trying to take a guess of what color jerseys they're wearing and how aesthetically pleasing it'll be. But I trust San Diego to take care of business.
I have no clue if they're wearing their black uniforms, but this is a prime spot for San Diego to wear their black uniforms while Panther City's wearing white.
Yes.
Next 10 o'clock game, Saskatchewan, Vancouver. We laid to rest the Vancouver Warriors season. You already know where I'm going. You already know where Deej is going. We're both going Saskatchewan. As I say that, watch Deej be like, nah, bro, I'm going Vancouver.
No, I'm going Saskatchewan.
That would have been funny as hell. It'd be like, bro, pause.
Saskatoon are my guys right now. They've been balling this year. I like them a lot. The green colorway is still knocking a few points off for me right now.
I always forget that you're not a fan
But
of
I
green.
could get jiggy with them.
Last game, 10:30, Colorado at Las Vegas. I think this game's going to be frisky. I don't know where I'm going with this one just yet. Deej, do you know how you're picking?
I think Colorado splits. It's hard to win back-to-backs. Buffalo kind of fought through it and powered through a very tough scenario last week and looked good while doing it, but that is not something everyone can do. That's not easy to do. They didn't do it easily. They didn't even look easy to them. It looked hard, honestly. And Colorado's no slouch even without Dylan Ward, but Georgia's going to be a tough team to beat regardless because of who they have on the offensive end and how hard that defense is going to work without Dylan Ward back there. It's a different scenario. As a defenseman, other defensemen know you play different for different goalies because of their goalie styles and everything. It throws you off mid-season when you got to switch from one guy to another. All of that goes into factor here. I think they take care of business against Georgia, like I mentioned earlier, but it's going to take a toll, and then to turn around and play the very next day on the road, even though it's not too far, still matters. I think they split, and Vegas takes one.
I'm going to go Colorado. I don't know. I just believe in their offense to kind of, overpower what Vegas's offense has been able to do. We've seen Vegas's offense go in spurts, obviously, especially in that Vancouver game when they won their first game in franchise history. But we haven't seen that consistently. But we've seen that ability from Colorado time and time again where guys can just get hot, whether it's C-Rob, Zed, the list goes on and on. I'm going to go Colorado. I just don't feel confident picking Vegas yet until we see some consistency of winning. Plus, they beat a dead team. So, to recap here, we're both going Colorado against Georgia. We're both going Halifax. We're both going Toronto. I'm going Wingies. You're going Firewolves. I'm going Rochester. You're going Buffalo. We're both going San Diego. We're both going Saskatoon boys, Saskatchewan Rush. Then I'm going Colorado, and you're going Las Vegas. And those are our Week 10 NLL Picks of the Week, brought to you by the homies over at Pickup. Deej, we called our shot. Well, I should say I called our shot on the tweet machine today. Was just feeling frisky. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna put the people who we have talked about in private conversations, in public conversations, and everything in between. I'm gonna put them on notice. I'm gonna say, hey, you're coming on the pod. This is the year. So I tweeted today at 2:49 p.m. on February 2nd. This is the year we get Will Manny, Marcus Holman, Kyle Harrison, Adam Gittleman, Jordan McIntosh, Kieran McCardle, Jake Withers, Jake Carraway, Eddie Glazner, Paul Rabel, and more on at OTB LaxPod with a GIF saying, I can feel it. I want your genuine reaction outside of your tweet, just your genuine reaction when you saw that tweet. What was your brain saying?
Who in the fuck? I literally genuinely was so lost because I was like, who has he been talking to? When has he been talking to these people? I am just like, wait, these people coming on pod? When? Let me make sure I got a haircut. I can't be getting caught slipping if we got K18 coming on the pod. Like I gotta look right. Like,
Facts.
we got goats coming through the door. Like I gotta present the right way.
I gotta be sheared like a sheep if a goat's coming through.
Man, imagine we pull in Lars Tiffany or something. Like I gotta be to the nines. I gotta go buy some Virginia Lex stuff just to throw on.
Oh yeah, this is also the year we get Coach Tillman on the pod, by the way, everybody.
I'm down for it.
But I think that's a healthy list of people that I think we've talked about wanting to get on the pod. There's others. That's why I said and more. You know, we've talked about, obviously, it's going to happen. We just want the right time for the boy, Colin Squires. I want to get Ryan Smith on this show because after having him in that one press conference, I was like, I need to talk to this guy for an hour because he's so just well-spoken and, like, I just listen to him, like, talk ball all day long. But there's a list. That's just some of the list. We were just calling our shot. Jordan McIntosh then proceeded to follow the podcast. So, J-Mac, how we doing?
Hit me up.
Let's do this thing. There's a list of a whole lot of people.
And they coming. What Deion say? Pack your bags, because they coming.
They come. And it's designer.
It's Louis.
We got the list that is Louis.
I'm screaming.
But I just felt like we had to call our shot. You know, we've been getting recognized and respected for our game lately. And these are some guys that when we were just young boys, before Deej was on the pod, that we wanted to have on the pod. And since Deej has been on the pod, he's agreed.
I'm still young.
Yeah, lucky bastard. That we felt should have been on the pod years ago. So I said, hey, we're gonna shoot our shot and be like Steph Curry. Hey. Seems like J-Mac's down though.
I think so. Because he did it pretty quick.
That was a quick return on investment there for J-Mac. Will Manny liked the tweet. So I think that is Will saying, hey boys.
Hit me up.
Hit me up.
Hit me up.
We have a loaded list of future guests that we haven't even mentioned here. I think there's about 3 or 4 that we know are going to happen. We're just working on calculating the proper pipelines and everything.
We didn't even mention a big name. We got to get on pod ASAP. JGJ. Newest coach of the Redwoods.
Oh, yeah. 1,000%. We're working on that. Don't you worry. We got the 2 lines of communication for that.
I mean, I'll plant the seed later this month. I seen that on the 22nd.
Oh, true.
That's when he plays Adrian.
You gotta vlog that.
Nah, I just might have to. I literally just might have to. That's gonna be so worth it.
But yeah, we're working on some guests and everything. I know it's been a while since we've had a guest on. But don't worry, we're working. We're working our underground pipelines to deliver some incredible content. And I don't have the credential yet, but I'm applying this weekend and more than likely will be approved. I'll be at the championship of the PLL Championship Series on February 26th. So if you're going to be in Virginia, come say what's up. I think CFO Margie's pulling through. So
hey,
say what's up.
There we go.
So we'll be there and doing some things for the championship game. Also very cool. The Bandits game, was it? No, it was the Rock game. I saw the homie, friend of the program, Sarah Griffin, was at the Wings game a couple weeks ago, so that was dope to see Sarah. But yeah, we're working our puppeteering powers to get people on the pod. And if there's somebody that you want us to have on the pod, literally comment on YouTube on this video, people you want us to have on the pod, whether they are college, coaches, pro, NLL, PLL, whatever it may be. Comment on YouTube, leave it in the Apple Podcast description, tweet at us, DM us on Twitter or Instagram. Let us know. We want you guys to hear from people that you want to hear from as well. So let us know who you want us to call our shot with.
Y'all said Josiah.
I'm saying.
Is that what I heard out there? Hello? Can you repeat yourself? You said what? Louder for those of us in the back.
Last bit here. Brought to you by our friends over at Kenwood Beer, official beer of Underground Sports Philadelphia. You guys can go to kenwoodbeer.com, use that all new and improved Kenny tracker to see who's got Kenwood beer on tap in the Philadelphia area. You got to be 21 or older to do so. And of course, please drink responsibly. You can get it at the Wells Fargo Center. If you're at the Wings game on Saturday, you can get Big Kenny's at the Wells Fargo Center. Go do that. Deej, college lacrosse starts this weekend.
Yes, sir. I'm excited. College lacrosse is one of my favorite times of the year. It's one of the first ways I really got in. I'll talk about it a lot, kind of just randomly stumbling across it in middle school and not really paying any real attention to it, and then getting into it later in high school and watching the 2016 national championship, which Diggs was watching some highlight tape of that earlier this week, and he talked about how nuts Chris Kluch was back then, which if you know anything about Chris Kluch and his time at North Carolina, you know exactly what he's talking about. I'm just excited for that kind of stuff to be coming back. Sam Handley at Penn, insane. Perk, but like on steroids because he's a better passer. Crazy good. Obviously, Connor Schellenberger is what it is. Fantastic kid. Kavanaugh tearing it up at Notre Dame. That seems like it's supposed to happen. Like, it seems like the world will fall apart when Kavanaugh stopped going to Notre Dame and aren't playing lacrosse there and doing well. I'll be concerned. So you know, there's tons there to look at in terms of, you know, Tucker Dorkovic going to Georgetown and them stacking up a later rolled super team down there. Brett Maker switching from 43 to 1, wearing the number 1 at Maryland as a defenseman. Juice in the veins now, please. I don't know the last time a defenseman has wore the number 1 at Maryland, but I'm here for it, and I can't wait for that. Also, Joey Ballin up in Syracuse, down in the 22. He gets his breakout or his debut on Saturday. Bo Lockwood in Michigan, they start this weekend as well. And next weekend, they open up on ESPN against Virginia. So that's going to be fun to watch. So there's tons of storylines. I didn't look too much at the preseason rankings because I never do. They don't mean much. It's preseason rankings. It's people looking at a list of names and picking who they think is going to do the best based off of the past and based off of guys in high school who are supposed to come in and make an impact. Never really know because, like we mentioned with these NLL teams, chemistry, that's an even bigger thing in college. Guys are still kids. They're still learning, and there's so much going on there that you can't imagine that these teams are really 100% locked in, good to go game one. There's going to be a lot of mistakes. I got a lot of moving parts and things like that. So it's going to be an interesting week 1, interesting week 2, 3. But I do expect the ACC to run away far and beyond with this year. Big Ten will obviously send a Hopkins or a Maryland, of course, that kind of thing up there. But also, the SoCon was dismantled, so everybody went elsewhere at like A10, Sun Belt, that kind of stuff. So I'm excited for those teams to see, you know, what's going on with High Point, like all those places going to the new conferences and how that fares out for D1 lacrosse. So other than that, I just want to see my biggest thing with college lacrosse right now is an initiative for women's lacrosse at a club level at some of these D1 schools. So then those D1 schools can go legitimate, because that's what's holding them back is they have club D1 teams for men, but they don't have the same thing for the women, so they can't be Division I teams. The Big Ten could have their normal conference, The Pac-12 could have their normal conference. The Big 12, the SEC, like all of those teams have D1 college lacrosse teams. They make up the MCLA, which, not taking anything away from the MCLA, it can still exist. We see Michigan, who has a club team in the MCLA, Ohio State, Penn State, Maryland, Hopkins, Virginia, Duke, Utah, all have a Division I and a club team that are playing in the MCLA. So it's like it can be done in both respects. Like, let's start pushing lacrosse the way it needs to be, because college lacrosse can be just as big as we see college basketball is in terms of turning May into May Madness, or finding something like that where Memorial Day weekend is exactly that. It's the weekend we all really look forward to.
Which we got news today. We might be there. This for the real ones who've listened all the way through. Yeah, and I mean, this is our call out too. If you're a college lacrosse player and you want to come on the show, I know Drake Porter is the king. Nobody will dethrone the king. He's the first ever and still the only to this day. But if you're a college player, you listen to the show or you want to come on the show, you know a college player that you want us to talk to, we'll navigate the pipeline of communication and everything with the school if they need to do that or whatever it may be. Hit us up. DM us at otblaxpod, Twitter, Instagram. Let us know. We'll make that happen. That's all we got for you guys, though. Make sure you're following us at otblaxpod, Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you follow Deej on Twitter at SCS_NextGreat. Follow me at KBIZZL311. Subscribe to the podcast feed on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. It's linked in the description on YouTube as well. So go subscribe. Leave a 5-star review. Let us know all your thoughts on everything we talked about on this episode. Share it with your people. Subscribe, and subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. That's where you get full video episodes of OTB. You get OTB cast live streams, interviews, shorts, original content, and every podcast on our network is on this YouTube channel. So go subscribe, smash that like button, ring the bell icon. We're almost at 400 subscribers. We're at 371 right now. Go subscribe. Big thank you to PHI Apparel Company for being our official merch providers. Make sure you guys go get your merch, phiapparel.co. Use code Underground for 10% off any and all merch. Tag us when you get it. And this has been episode number 259 of the allegedly award-nominated, honorably mentioned, number 9 NCAA ranked, and of course viewable on YouTube, Outside the Box podcast, the official lacrosse podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. For Deej, I'm KB. Until next week, we are getting the heck up out of here. Peace.
Peace.